The email hit my inbox at 7:03 a.m. Subject line, urgent, meeting with CEO at 9 o'clock. No greeting, no context, just a cold directive from the assistant of Cassandra Reed, the new CEO of Starfield Publishing. My name is Ethan Carver, and for 18 years, I'd been the backbone of Starfield's Chicago sales division, turning a chaotic region into a powerhouse that fueled 65% of the company's revenue. I didn't need algorithms or viral TikTok campaigns. My tools were trust, late-night diner meetings, and a leather-bound notebook where I jotted down the dreams and fears of every publisher I worked with. But that morning, as I stared at the email, a chill settled in my gut. I'd seen colleagues vanish after urgent summons like this. By 9:15, I'd know if my time was up. What happened next wasn't just a firing, it was the spark that ignited a revolution in an industry obsessed with clicks and data. This is the story of how I lost everything I'd built, only to create something far greater. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll see why sometimes the old ways are the ones that change the world. The Starfield headquarters in Chicago's Loop gleamed with glass and steel, a monument to ambition. My office on the 14th floor was a relic, wooden shelves crammed with first editions, a rotary phone I kept for nostalgia, and a view of Lake Michigan that grounded me during late-night strategy sessions. I'd started at Starfield when it was a scrappy outfit called Midwest Press, with 15 employees and a dream of championing independent voices. I'd left a cushy job at a New York conglomerate because I believed in stories, not stock prices. Over the years, I'd built a network of publishers who trusted me not because of flashy presentations, but because I showed up at their book launches, their kids' graduations, their moments of doubt. Cassandra Reed arrived 6 months ago, a Silicon Valley transplant with a reputation for disrupting industries she barely understood. Her first act was to replace the boardroom's oak table with a touch-screen wall that cost more than my annual budget. Meetings became TED Talk rehearsals, filled with buzzwords like omni-channel engagement and AI-driven scalability. I was 52, the oldest director, and the only one who still mailed handwritten thank you notes. Cassandra's gaze lingered on me during executive briefings, her smile tight, like she was sizing up a dinosaur. That morning, I finished a call with Marcus Tate, owner of Horizon Books, Starfield's largest client. We were finalizing a $15 million, 6-year deal, the kind that took a decade of shared coffees and candid conversations to secure. At 8:55, I walked to the boardroom. Cassandra's assistant, Liam, avoided my eyes as he ushered me in. 3 people waited: Cassandra, Liam, and a stone-faced HR rep named Olivia. No coffee, no small talk, just a folder on the table with my name on it. "Ethan, thank you for your service to Starfield," Cassandra began, her voice clipped. "But our vision requires leadership that embraces a digital-first future. Your approach, while effective in the past, doesn't align with our strategy." I leaned back, the words landing like a slow-motion punch. 18 years, 65% of revenue, countless sleepless nights, and it came down to my refusal to trade handshakes for Zoom links. She didn't say too old, but the subtext screamed it. I nodded, thanked her for the opportunity, and left the room. No outburst, no pleading, just the quiet dignity I'd learned from my father, a union man who'd faced his own layoffs with grace. By noon, my desk was cleared. I slipped out while the team was at lunch, leaving a note for my assistant, "Noah, keep the faith. You've got this." In the parking garage, I sat in my car, staring at my phone. 5 missed calls from Marcus Tate. He'd heard already. The news spread faster than ink on a press. Home was a brownstone in Wicker Park, where my wife, Lena, and I had raised our son, Caleb, now a junior at Northwestern. Lena was in Minneapolis, visiting her sister, so the house was silent when I walked in. I poured a bourbon and sat in my study, surrounded by books I'd helped bring to life. My phone buzzed relentlessly, texts from publishers, emails from industry contacts, all stunned by the news. I ignored them, needing to process the betrayal alone. Starfield had been my identity. I joined when it was still Midwest Press, hired by founder Henry Starfield himself. "We don't need MBAs," he'd said over whiskey at a dive bar. "We need someone who loves books and the people who make them." I'd poured my soul into that mission, driving 80,000 miles across Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan to meet small presses. I knew their stories: the widow who ran a poetry imprint to honor her husband, the veteran who published military histories to heal. Those bonds weren't data points. They were my life's work. Cassandra's arrival wasn't the first warning. 2 years ago, when Henry's daughter, Abigail, took over, she'd pushed for modernization. I'd resisted, arguing that our clients' independent presses with razor-thin margins valued trust over tech. Abigail respected my results, but after her sudden death in a car accident, the board hired Cassandra. The shift was immediate. My team was forced to adopt a clunky CRM system that baffled our veteran reps. Noah, who I'd mentored for years, was pulled into closed-door meetings I wasn't invited to. When Horizon Books was reassigned to a 28-year-old digital strategist named Dylan, Marcus called me, livid. This kid emailed me a PowerPoint about brand synergy. Does he even know what we publish? The day after my firing, Marcus called again. "Ethan, what the hell happened?" he demanded. "Starfield's lost its mind." I repeated Cassandra's line about new directions, but he cut me off. "You are Starfield to us." That Dylan kid pitched me a social media campaign for our Civil War series. Didn't once ask about our new memoir line, the one I told you could sink us if it flops. I closed my eyes, exhaustion seeping in. "They'll figure it out, Marcus." "No," he snapped. "They won't. People like that don't learn, they bulldoze." His words echoed as I opened a severance email. 6 months pay, 90 days of health coverage, a non-disparagement clause, and a non-compete barring me from working with Starfield clients for 18 months. I laughed bitterly. They thought they could erase 18 years of trust with a PDF. By evening, 15 publishers had reached out, all echoing Marcus's loyalty. One, Claren Wen from Sparrow Press, said, "When you're ready to start something new, I'm in." The seed of an idea took root. I met my attorney, Rachel Cohen, at her office in the West Loop. She reviewed the non-compete and grinned. "It's a paper tiger," she said. "Too vague, too broad. They can't stop you from using your expertise, but they'll try to intimidate you with lawsuits." I nodded, weighing the risk. Starfield's board had the resources to bury me in legal fees, even if they lost. What if I don't chase their clients? I asked. What if I build something new and let them come to me? Rachel's eyes lit up. That's a loophole they can't touch. The next day, I filed for Carver Publishing Solutions, a consultancy with no website or fanfare, just a legal shell to offer services. I didn't reach out to Starfield's clients, but I didn't need to. Marcus called 3 days later. "Heard you're going solo," he said. "I need your brain on our spring catalog. Starfield's pushing us toward ebooks, but our readers want hardcovers. $20,000 for 3 months, no conflict with Starfield." I hesitated, then agreed, structuring the deal to avoid legal traps. Noah contacted me a week later, voice low. "Can we meet?" "Somewhere discreet." We chose a cafe in Logan Square, far from Starfield's orbit. He looked haggard, glancing around like a spy. "It's a mess, Ethan. They made me director, but I'm a puppet. The digital team's calling the shots, reassigning your accounts to kids who don't know a galley from a manuscript. 4 reps quit. Clients are livid sparrows pulling their contract." He slid a USB drive across the table. Updated client contacts. Personal emails, cell numbers. "I didn't give you this." I stared at the drive, tempted. It was everything I needed to rebuild, but also a trap. Using it would give Starfield's lawyers ammunition. I left it on the table and walked away, knowing I had to play smarter. Instead of poaching, I reached out to non-Starfield contacts, university presses, literary agents, niche imprints. The work was small but kept me sharp. Then came an unexpected call from Edward Lang, a retired Starfield board member who'd mentored me early on. "Meet me at the Union League Club," he said. "We need to talk." The club was all leather armchairs and hush deals. Edward, 68 and sharp as ever, handed me a gin and tonic. "Starfield's bleeding," he said. "Revenue's down 40%. Clients are jumping ship. Cassandra's digital gamble's a disaster." I sipped my drink, neutral. "Why tell me?" He leaned in. "The board wants you back. Chief Operating Officer, above Cassandra. Full control of sales, triple your old salary." The offer stunned me. It was vindication, a chance to undo Cassandra's mess. But something felt off. Edward's eyes betrayed it. They didn't want me. They wanted my client list to plug their leaks. And I'd be the one to fire Cassandra, to clean up their mistake. "I'll think about it," I said, knowing I wouldn't. That night, I called Marcus. "I'm not just consulting," I told him. "I'm starting a collective independent publishers pooling resources, sharing distribution, no corporate nonsense. You in?" He didn't pause. "Hell yes. I know 8 others who'd join today." Claire and Wen was next, proposing a shared online platform to boost visibility without sacrificing autonomy. Rachel confirmed the plan was legally sound. I wasn't stealing clients. I was creating a new ecosystem. Carver Publishing Collective launched with 10 members, all former Starfield clients who'd left or were planning to. We rented a loft in Pilsen, hired a social media whiz named Zoe and a retired operations guru, Sam. No hierarchy, no corner offices, just a shared mission to put publishers first. Word spread, and by month 2, we had 18 members and a waiting list. Starfield's October earnings call was a bloodbath, 48% revenue drop, stock down 20%. Cassandra blamed market shifts, but the truth was clear. Clients like Marcus and Clara had fled to us. Noah called, sounding defeated. "Cassandra's unhinged, threatening to sue you for client interference. The board's panicking." I smiled. "Let them try." Days later, a board member, Diane Patel, called. "We're waiving your non-compete," she said tersely. "But we're preparing a cease and desist for undermining our business." I cut her off. "Talk to your clients, Diane. Ask why they left." She hung up, and the legal threat never materialized. A week later, the Chicago Tribune announced Cassandra's exit. By spring, the collective had 30 members across the Midwest, with offices in a Fulton Market warehouse. Publishers Weekly dubbed us the Trust Rebellion. I hadn't sought a revolution, just a way to keep doing what I loved. When Edward called, asking Starfield to join the collective, I left. "We're not for you," I said. "You forgot what matters." I sit by the Chicago River now, watching barges glide past. The collective thrives not because it's flashy, but because it's human. Zoe's digital platform gives our members reach, but it's the dinners, the phone calls, the trust that keep us strong. Noah joined us, free from Starfield's chaos. Lena and Caleb are proud, though they tease me about my stubborn notebook. Getting fired was my liberation. It forced me to rebuild on my terms, proving that relationships outlast algorithms. The lesson? Trust is your greatest asset in business and life. Never let someone tell you it's obsolete. What do you think? Have you ever been pushed out only to find a better path? Drop a comment, share your story. Let's keep this conversation alive.